And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure.
Now, 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey everybody, this is Sarge.
And this is the Burgundy.
You're on Newswatch Late Edition on News Radio KYRO.
Stay tuned. Coming up at 18 after, we'll be back with all of East Central Missouri's news of the day on Newswatch Late Edition.
Missouri Net News, I'm Anthony Morabit. 3 citizen-led ballot initiatives will appear on Missouri's November ballot.
One would increase Missouri's minimum wage and require employers to provide earned paid sick leave. Another would legalize sports betting in Missouri, and the other would guarantee the right to an abortion. The Secretary of State's office has certified all 3, saying they've met the minimum requirement of valid signatures collected from voters. One citizen ballot question did not get enough signatures, though, one that would have granted a gaming license to a proposed casino on the Osage River near the Lake of the Ozarks. Plans had already been drawn up for a casino resort, hotel, and convention center that would have been located just off U.S. Highway 54 below Bagnell Dam. Organizers will have to try again in 2 years or hope that Missouri lawmakers craft their own proposal.
That's Marshall Griffin reporting. Missouri's 7th Public Education Commissioner is getting settled in. Carla Esslinger of Wasola has taken over as the state's top educator. The position comes under regular political criticism, something Esslinger is used to as a former state lawmaker and assistant commissioner at the department.
What is it that we value? We value safe schools, we value quality teachers, we value really good solid curriculum and the ability to assess whether or not our kids are learning.
Homeowners in Jackson County whose property values shot up by more than 15% will not be getting any refunds. That's in spite of last week's order by the Missouri State Tax Commission to roll back 2023 property tax assessments to current levels or to a 15% increase from the last assessment, whichever is less. But leaders within the county's executive branch say that the extra money taxed from homeowners already has been spent. Meanwhile, the county is considering whether to sue the state of Missouri over the tax commission's rollback of the county's higher tax rates. And if Congress passes a farm bill this year, it likely will be down to the wire. That's the expectation of Missouri Farm Bureau President Garrett Hawkins. He says Missouri needs an updated federal farm bill, but also expects other congressional priorities and the presidential race to compete for attention. This is Missouri Net.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for home sweet home. We're for condos, tutors, single wides, and studios. We're for ranches, houseboats, 2 stories or 20. Red cedar, bluebirds, white squirrels, black walnuts, whatever's out your back door, we're for that. We're for watching the sun rise over the Mississippi and set over the Missouri. We're for kicking off your heels in a high-rise or hanging up your hat in the bootio. And if you have a home in Missouri, we have a policy for you. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we've got Missouri covered.
Have you lost Mo HealthNet? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
St. Louis Democrat Mark Osmak won his party's nomination for Missouri Treasurer in the August primaries. Osmak, who ran unopposed, now has his sights set on the Republican nominee, current State Treasurer Vivek Malik. He wants voters to know that he wants to keep Missouri money in Missouri.
Not sending it to a wall in Texas, to reevaluate and to stop frivolous spending, sending the Missouri Highway Patrol and the Army National Guard to Texas to stare in the night. So those are just some of the things, ending school vouchers, that those are processed through the Treasurer's office.
A man working for a medical equipment company in the St. Louis area racked up tens of thousands of dollars of gasoline on non-company vehicles over a 10-month period. This according to KTVI. The man admitted to taking the credit card after business hours to purchase over $52,000 worth of gas for others. And according to AAA, Missouri's statewide average for regular gasoline is $3.15 a gallon, up 2 cents from yesterday. This is Missouri Net.
Welcome to MegaNet. For slow internet, press 1. For indifferent customer service, press 2. For confusing pricing, press 3. For extremely long wait times, stay on the line. You are 87th in line, 85th in line, 87th in line, 85th in line, 85th in line.
Where there was frustration, now there's satisfaction.
Hello, this is Helen at Gateway Fiber. How may I help you?
Isn't it time you refreshed your internet provider? For more information, visit gatewayfiber.com.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks surged with the Nasdaq and S&P 500 scoring their biggest four-day rally of the year after softer-than-expected producer price index data reinforced bets that the Fed will start slashing interest rates in September. Prices at the wholesale level rose just 0.1% in July from June. In the 12 months through July, the PPI increased 2.2%, the smallest year-over-year increase since March. It's an important week for inflation data as the Consumer Price Index report will be released on Wednesday morning. The Dow up 409 points, the Nasdaq up 407, S&P 500 up 90. Shares of Starbucks soared 24% for its biggest one-day gain on record after the coffee giant tapped current Chipotle chief executive Brian Niccol as its next CEO. Shares of Chipotle tumbled 7%. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Gold demand is hitting record highs, but supply may not keep up. I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your retirement savings from a chaotic world. To learn how to diversify your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals, text the word SHELTER to 989898 for a free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold Group. That's SHELTER to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar asks, ever wonder what it would be like to live in an alternate universe? One where everything seems to work just the opposite of the way you'd expect? Well, friends, welcome to the alternate universe of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. The taste is nothing less than outrageously delicious. And Mountain Dew Zero Sugar comes in awesomely exhilarating flavors, like Original Dew Zero Sugar, Mountain Dew Spark Zero Sugar, and Mountain Dew Major Melon Zero Sugar. Try the incredible flavors of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Zero Sugar, all dew.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Monsi Bolaños.
The NBA released its complete game schedule for group play of the Emirates NBA Cup 2024 that will take place on Tuesdays and Fridays, starting November 12th with a doubleheader as the 76ers will be hosting the Knicks and the Mavericks will take on the Warriors, which will be the first time Klay Thompson returns to the Bay Area. In the NFL, Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase, who has been present at training camp but has not participated because of an apparent hold-in, was not seen at practice today. Head coach Zach Taylor said that Chase is day-to-day and that he has no comment beyond that. Vikings rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy will have surgery for a torn meniscus in his right knee that he suffered Saturday during their preseason victory over the Raiders. Doctors will decide during surgery whether McCarthy needs a trim of the meniscus, which could allow him to return this season, or a full repair that could sideline him until 2025. The news ensures that veteran Sam Darnold will be the Vikings starting quarterback Week 1.
It's 5:10 in East Central Missouri, and you're on the Newswatch PM edition. Traffic and weather together on the 10s starts right now.
East Central Missouri's News Radio KYRO. Depend on it.
The News Radio KYRO traffic. Just make sure to give yourself plenty of time on I-70 westbound. There is bumper-to-bumper traffic from Mid-Rivers Mall Drive around toward the accident cleanup work that is still going on after Highway 79. And there's a jam up in toward Lake St. Louis, very heavy on 64 westbound from Windhaven Boulevard. That takes you around toward Wentzville. And your trouble for you at that point approaching I-70. And you will jam up briefly on Highway 79 northbound off of I-70, then again near Main Street. And that's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 63 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the lower 80s, moderate rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy it's 79. In Warrenton it's 78 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Award-winning severe weather coverage when it counts. 24/7 from News Radio 105.3, 1280 AM. Powered by the Quiver River Electric Cooperative, a Touchtone Energy cooperative. Depend on it.
Welcome summer. 2024 is going to be the best year yet. We're launching Central Illinois' first wave machine, the Big Surf, opening this summer. Plus, there's a dozen water slides for all ages. Go online to knightsactionpark.com and grab a season pass. After the excitement at Splash Kingdom, drive a go-kart or a golf ball with mini golf, the big wheel, the paratrooper, and more. Central Illinois' largest water and amusement park, Knights Action Park. Go online to knightsactionpark.com, where fun rules. The very latest ag news from the Brownfield Network, brought to you this hour by the Wrecking Crew in Troy, Winfield, and Vandalia. Call 636-462-1727.
Cattle were higher Tuesday. Hogs, corn, and soybeans finished lower. I'm John Perkins with a Brownfield Market Update. For decades, Stein has represented simply the best in soybean genetics. Leverage the extensive knowledge of their talented experts across the country. Stein has yield. Soybeans were lower on speculative and technical selling, with most months down sharply. The trade continued to digest the USDA's record yield and production estimates while watching the weather. Conditions are mostly favorable, with 68% of the crop called good to excellent. September beans were down 24 at 947 1/4. November was 23.5 lower at 962 1/2. On the fundamental implications of a record soybean crop, September bean meal was down 620 at 299.80. September soybean oil was down 119 at 40.29. Corn was lower, also reeling from a record yield guess, with the USDA projecting the third largest U.S. corn crop ever. CONAB did lower its corn outlook for Brazil slightly while raising exports. September corn was 5.5 lower at 377 3/4. December was down 4 1/4 at 397 1/4. In Chicago and Kansas City, wheat were down. Minneapolis is mostly steady to firm. The spring wheat rating dipped but remains well above a year ago. The U.S. winter wheat harvest is essentially wrapped up for the year, except for parts of the Pacific Northwest. September Chicago was 8 lower at 528 3/4. September Kansas City was down 1/2 at 547 3/4. September Minneapolis was up 3/4 at 593. Live and feeder cattle were up, with most months sharply higher on the midday gains in box beef, getting ready for this week's direct business. October live is up 72 at 180.75. December was $1.35 higher at 180.30. September feeders were up $2.67 at 242.17. October feeders were $2.20 higher at 239.92. But on technical selling, October hogs were down $1.47 at 72.85. December was $1.32 lower at 64.75. Megan Grebner has your full look at cash livestock after this brief break.
Missouri's black vulture numbers are increasing, and their aggressive nature can cause problems for livestock producers. If you suspect a black vulture problem on your farm, let the USDA and the Missouri Department of Agriculture help you. Reimbursement for necropsy and death loss is available to farmers if livestock loss is determined to have occurred because of black vultures. The black vulture remains a federally protected bird in the USA, so contact the USDA or Missouri Department of Agriculture for mitigation options. For more information, visit agriculture.mo.gov. That's agriculture.mo.gov.
Are you ready to shape the future? Your voice matters. Missouri is crafting its master plan on aging, and we want to hear from you. Visit health.mo.gov/aging to help shape the future for Missouri. Take the statewide needs assessment survey. Your voice counts. Together, we can create a vibrant, inclusive future for all generations. Your input is crucial. Visit the website today and share your thoughts on aging in Missouri. Sponsored by the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
Rat cash cattle trade activity was quiet Tuesday. Bids were elusive. Asking prices were around $187 to $188 live in the South, while the North was quiet. Look for significant trade volume to hold out until the back half of the week. Box beef closed higher with good demand for moderate offerings. Choice up $1.10 at $316.93. Select closed 44 cents higher at $300.61. Estimated cattle slaughter was 122,000 head even on the week and down about 4,000 on the year. Cash hogs closed higher with a huge negotiated run. Barrows and Gilts at the National Daily Direct up 69 cents with a weighted average of 83.17. The Iowa Minnesota was 24 cents higher with a weighted average of 83.24, and the Western Corn Belt was up 31 cents with a weighted average of 83.31. Pork values were about steady, up 6 cents at $100.33, and estimated hog slaughter was 482,000 head, even on the week and about even on the year. I'm Megan Grebner for Brownfield.
Fourth down, goal to go at the 1 yard line for the Chiefs. Trailing 10-3. Oladokun. It's Steele. Plows into the line, and no signal yet. Touchdown! Kansas City!
The Kansas City Chiefs are back in action this Saturday in preseason game number 2 against the Detroit Lions at GEHA Field at Arrowhead. Pre-game starts at 2 on your home for Kansas City Chiefs football.
On East Central Missouri's News Radio KYRO. Depend on it.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, a new boat, or a new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events. Make sure you have the right policy for each of life's wins.
Call Sandy Turner at 107B North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-528-8443.
Trust the professionals at Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions. Buying or selling, they'll make your dreams come true. Here's farm auction and acreage expert Dan Stokes.
You know, Meyer & Company's been in the business for over 40 years. We specialize in things called 1031 exchanges, so we're very versed in how to exchange farm ground for other farm ground. So it's something that we do on a daily basis, and we really enjoy doing it.
We are the #1 stop in the region for buying and selling residential, commercial, and farm real estate. We've been serving the area for more than 40 years, and we do it with pride.
It's still a pretty strong seller's market. Dollars per acre is still high. If you're able to connect with a good agent and you can find something off market, we do that all the time, and you know, we're able to still get some deals out there here and there.
Dan Stokes.
You can either call my cell phone at 314-971-0654, or you can call the brokerage at 636-462-5555.
Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-462-5555. Online at MeyerListings.com.
And a very pleasant good afternoon / evening, everyone. It's 18 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock, and that over there, he's Sarge.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm Burgundy, and otherwise known as John. And we have News Watch Late Edition on the air for you right now. Getting a little bit of backups on the highways, and Rick Bensing will be with us in just a moment to get us a quick traffic update on News Radio KYRO. Coming up after the break, we'll be talking about trade schools, Sarge.
That'll be awesome. That'll be neat.
Pike Lincoln Technical Center Director Bobby Spoonster will join us just after traffic and weather coming up next. And we'll look forward to having a conversation with him and give him the latest. And, trade schools are really becoming popular.
Mm-hmm.
Quicker way to get to work. You don't have to spend the money on the degree that you otherwise would have to. And a lot of adult education opportunities up there. We'll talk about those coming up. Also, O'Reilly comes up at 6 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. We've got a lot more for you this afternoon on News Watch Late Edition.
And it's warmer outside today.
It did warm up a little bit. What are we looking at right now?
It's about 79.
79 or so. I'll take that. It could stay that way year-round as far as I'm concerned.
You and me both.
Yeah. So, we've got that coming up, as well as a big motorcycle ride coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, I will grab that sheet, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit.
Yep, we'll bring that up here in just a moment. All right, it is 20 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock. You're on Newswatch Late Edition. Right now, let's get the latest from the roadways.
In News Radio KYRO traffic, just make sure to give yourself plenty of time on I-70 westbound. There is bumper-to-bumper traffic from Mid-Rivers Mall Drive around toward the accident cleanup work that is still going on after Highway 79. And there's a jam up in toward Lake St. Louis, very heavy on 64 westbound from Windhaven Boulevard. That takes you around toward Wentzville. And your trouble free at that point approaching I-70. And you will jam up briefly on Highway 79 northbound off of I-70, then again near Main Street. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 63 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the lower 80s, moderate rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy it's 78. In Warrenton it's 77 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Old Monroe Lumber and Rental has the largest stocking lumber yard in the area and the best prices too. Bring in your building plans to Old Monroe Lumber and Rental for a complete material list from steel beams to doorknobs. And check out your windows, doors, siding, and trim in their 2,400 square foot showroom before you buy. Old Monroe Lumber and Rental will load it for you. And if it's more than you can haul, Old Monroe Lumber and Rental will deliver it free. Online at omlumber.com.
And welcome back, everybody. It's Newswatch Late Edition, 21 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock, 79 degrees on the outside. And we're fascinated with the idea of trade schools in the United States and vocational education. Joining us now on the hotline is Bobby Spoonster. He's the director of the Pike Lincoln Technical Center up in Eola, Missouri. Good afternoon, sir. And summer is just about over for everybody up at PLTC.
It is. Thanks for having us on. Students, the adult students started back this week, and the high school students will be back next Tuesday.
And where'd the summer go?
It's gone. And here we are.
So the opportunities abound, and I've heard you mention in our earlier conversations, and you hear the trends nationwide. Trade schools give folks the opportunity to get in the workforce much faster, not absorb a huge student loan in the process, and you guys have added new programs this year. And, I think it's a really good opportunity for folks in Pike, Lincoln County, and not just in Pike or Lincoln County. We have students from probably 10 or 12 different counties that take advantage of the classes there. What's new up there?
So for the high school side, we have a dental assistant class for high school students. We also have a digital design and marketing class and EMT for high school students. And on the adult side of things, we've added a fire academy. So we're trying to hit a lot of different areas to just benefit the communities we live in, and especially the Pike and Lincoln County area, and give them an opportunity to get classes and education in their home area.
And I think the good thing is, too, it's essential programs. It's positions that are in demand. Speaking specifically of the fire academy, I think there are more fire departments, and I'm just speaking of career fire departments. I think there's more fire departments in Missouri that are hiring right now than aren't hiring. And so that field is wide open. It's a good paying job. It's good benefits, and you can retire from it.
I think that's something that's across the board a theme. I think there's more people hiring than not hiring at the moment, and I think that's beneficial to the students that we have. I think that's why you see such an influx of students that we have this year coming to Pike Lincoln Technical Center, as there's so many opportunities out there for these students to get into the workforce right away. I mean, in the past, it was always you need to go to a four-year school and get your education. Now it's more of, we'll teach you on the job. And so it's kind of shifted a lot in the last 10 to 15 years from the way it was when I first started in education.
This is Sarge. I've got a quick question for you. So with the trade schools really being a dominant thing out there now, what for you guys up there, for a student looking to come up and to go to school, what is the average price that they would be looking to pay, and comparing that to a 4-year school?
So, I mean, if you're talking the high school students, they get to come for free. So any student that goes to Troy, Winfield, Ellsbury, Silex, Clopton, Louisiana, or Bowling Green, they all come, they get selected from their schools, they go through a process, and they get to come to us for free, which is a great opportunity for these kids to get a jump start, especially kids in the health OC world that are getting their CNA, and in our trade classes that are getting their certifications. So that's a huge jump start in their career for them. And then if you look at the adult side of things, we are really competitive in our LPN program prices, our paramedic, our phlebotomy classes that we offer, as well as the fire school and the fire academy, and the fact that you can do it close to home is even a much greater asset to us.
And especially with your public safety offerings that you have, that's something on the adult side, especially. That's something that's just not available anywhere close. And you guys are kind of situated in a target location to where you can offer that without the 100-mile drive that somebody might have to make every day to get that education at a very competitive price.
Yes. That's the neat part about it, and that's what we're really happy to be able to offer those opportunities to the people in their surrounding counties.
So you recently attended a conference and basically got to see the latest and greatest in the new things in vocational education, both secondary and post-secondary. What are some of the nuggets of information that you can bring back? The trends that we're seeing nationwide. I know your student numbers are way up this year, both on the adult side and on the high school side. What do you see as the future of this?
That's it's such a booming industry per se. In the trade world, because a lot of these people that are our skilled trade workers now are retirement age. And they are on their way out, and we are looking to fill a void that a big number of people that are in this job and profession are going to have. And so for us, it's exciting to be able to add these kids and have them be able to come in and be like, hey, this is out here in front of you. If you go out there and you work hard, the sky's the limit. And like anything else, the trade jobs pay well, and these kids are going to have opportunities to make a good amount of money with a little amount of debt coming out, which is obviously beneficial for everybody. And I think that's the big trend that everybody is seeing, and we're all talking about, is the fact that, these kids aren't always wanting to take on 4 years of debt anymore, and they're seeing that the ability to go make some money right away is a great opportunity for them.
So you've got a couple of big events coming up. Obviously, the school year gets underway next week, but you have your open house, which is tomorrow night up at PLTC in Eolia. And also coming up Friday, one of the funnest events of the year, you're having a golf tournament to benefit the programs up there. I'll give you an opportunity, obviously, to tell us about both of those things.
Yes, tomorrow night we have the opportunity for our high school students that are going to be coming to have their parents and their families come on up and just check out the school, check out their classes, kind of see what things are. We have the opportunity for them to have, we're having pulled pork dinner for them, just have them come up and just hang out, because at our place it's a family environment, and that's what we want to make it like, and we want them to understand that when they get there, they're part of a big team, and that's going to work together. It's like you would be in the workforce. And on Friday, we're having our first golf tournament. It's to benefit our skills program and our scholarships that we give out each year. It's our first crack at it, and so far we are extremely excited about the response we have received on it.
You have room for anybody else in that tournament, or are you guys filled up? And what are the particulars and location?
It's at the Pike County Country Club in Louisiana. We are one team shy of being completely full, and there's sponsorship opportunities at $100, $250, and $500 levels.
All right, so it's a good time to be had by all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, can you hang on with us through a break?
Sounds good.
All right, Bobby Spoonster, the director at the Pike Lincoln Technical Center in Eolia, Missouri. Right now we need to get a late look at the roadways and the weather forecast, and we'll do that right now. You're on Newswatch Late Edition.
The News Radio KYRO traffic. Just make sure to give yourself plenty of time on I-70 westbound. There is bumper-to-bumper traffic from Mid-Rivers Mall Drive around toward the accident cleanup work that is still going on after Highway 79. And there's a jam up in toward Lake St. Louis, very heavy on 64 westbound from Windhaven Boulevard. That takes you around toward Wentzville. And your trouble for you at that point approaching I-70. And you will jam up briefly on Highway 79 northbound off of I-70, then again near Main Street. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 63 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the lower 80s, moderate rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy it's 78. In Warrenton it's 77 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate, or farm ground? Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. The U.S. ramping up its military presence in the Middle East over fears Iran could attack Israel. Pentagon spokesman General Pat Ryder.
We have put these additional capabilities into the region to enable us, as I highlighted, to protect our forces, but also to support the defense of Israel should it be attacked.
In terms of Iran avenging the deaths of two top leaders for Hamas and Hezbollah, Missouri will give voters an opportunity to decide whether to make abortion access a right in that state's constitution this fall. Fox's Gernal Scott.
The Missouri Secretary of State's office announced there were more than the number of voter signatures needed to put abortion rights on the November ballot. If a majority of voters say yes, rights to the procedure will be written into the state constitution.
Missouri currently has a near total ban on abortion. America's listening to Fox News.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure.
1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
This moment of calm is brought to you by American National. Because life on the farm is stressful and insurance shouldn't be. American National. Relax. We're here. American National Property and Casualty Company and Affiliates, Springfield, Missouri.
And welcome back, Newswatch Late Edition. And Bobby, we've got some rain coming in over the next 24, 48 hours or so, but I just wanted to let you know that Sarge took the whiteout to the weather forecast and made sure that you guys won't have rain on Friday morning.
Excellent. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Just wanted to let you know that. I wanted to jump back in on the secondary education, otherwise known as the high school side of this. Kids, parents trying to make decisions on what direction to go. The dynamic that you have created, that you have up there, and you've maintained and created for the students. Like you said, it's a family type atmosphere, but it's an atmosphere that really promotes collaborative learning. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about that because, one of the things that I've been very impressed with is the quality of the faculty and staff there that you have working with the students. These are people with real world experience in what you're teaching.
Yes, and I think that's a big plus. If you have people that have been in the workforce, they've seen a lot of things, and they're able to give the kids real world experiences. Not only like, hey, this is what it's going to be like when you're out there, but hey, this is what's going to work when you are out there. We can use our welding department. Last year we went to a national competition. There's multiple states, represented, and we go 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The top 10 kids. These kids are having opportunities where they're coming out with job offers that would make your head spin. Just out of high school, not having to go on for any other education. Just right there out of high school. And, the amount of education, and, a lot of times I laugh because I'll go to speak at something, but they really want to talk to Aaron Irvin, our welding instructor, because that's the sought-after class, that they want to talk to that person. And if you look at, a lot of our classes, especially the diesel, the welding, the health sciences, and the automotive, those classes are completely plumb full morning and afternoon of students because of just the amount of students that are wanting to get into those fields. And I mean, that's with us having to turn kids away. So there's so much, right now of just a push for kids to want to join those fields. And it's great because here's the deal, like there's going to be a lot of openings in those fields in the near future, if not already.
So, and I know that you guys track the success of your students when they move on from PLTC. Some of those success stories are pretty astounding.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about our just in general, just the one that's a huge success is our welding instructor is a graduate of PLTC. He goes out and year after year after year is a top welding program in the state, and a lot of people will say it's one of the top programs in the Midwest, and that is kudos to the education he got here at PLTC, and to want to come back and give back to the students we have now is amazing, and we are so blessed to have him there.
So you said at the national competition they got a 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, we'll have to pick up that game and make sure they get the 4, 5, and
absolutely.
Yeah, the 4,
absolutely.
Sarge, you had a question.
I do. Again, comparing to a 4-year school, for high school students, for adults coming in to do a trade, and I know it'll vary from trade to trade, but what's about the average length of time from start to being finished and getting out into the workforce?
So like our LPN students will be 11 months. The adult students that come in for auto services, auto collision, diesel, welding, building trades, any of the computer classes, they're all day for the full school year. Okay, and then it's right then they're in the workforce. Same situation with obviously fire is going to take a little bit longer because you have to have more classes to get through. But a phlebotomy class is a few months long, and you're certified to go on and do that kind of thing. So it all varies, but for the most part, it's a 9-month to 12-month situation before you can get into a class or get into a job from our classes.
So it's really about a fourth of the time going to a college.
Correct, and I think that's why a fourth of your time and how much less money. Right. Are you looking at? And I think that's the biggest thing, is you're seeing that push from just parents, kids, and we've grown from a society that everything's kind of like instant. We didn't 30, 40 years ago things weren't at your fingertips. Well, now people want things fast, and so going to school and sitting through an hour and a half lecture isn't for everybody. And they're like, well, if I can go do this for a year and make this amount of money, well, why wouldn't I do that?
Right.
And I think you've hit it right on the head. I mean, it's kind of a systemic issue and societal in the fact that, people, really want to get things going a little bit quicker than putting their life on hold. And that's not to criticize 4-year universities and things like that. Obviously, there's occupations where you have to do that. But at the same time, there are so many high-paying jobs that you can go into, in-demand jobs, especially in the healthcare world. I mean, that's where the healthcare and the trades. That's where it is. Like Mike Rowe, talks about on a national basis all the time. Encouraging younger people to go into the trades and things like that. I mean, Bobby, it's guaranteed employment right off the bat. I mean, unless you're just a complete nincompoop. You're going to walk into a stable, good-paying, good benefit job.
And I tell kids this all the time. My dad was a pipe fitter by trade, and 30 years ago when I was a kid, he's like, "Son, you need to be a pipe fitter," and I'm like, "No." And I'm 2 masters in and a specialist. I can be superintendent at any school district in the United States, and these kids will come out making more money than us. Right out of trade schools, and there's just such a demand for them. And I'm a 4-year college guy, and I've had all the schooling, But I see the benefit of, man, I have to have somebody work on my car. I got to have somebody do my air conditioning. I got to have somebody to build my house. I have somebody to fix a dent. All of those jobs are out there. And like I said, that's the biggest trend that we're hearing at these conferences is those people that are in those jobs now they're retiring. And who are we going to have step up and be ready for that job? And I think that's got to be our goal, is we got to make our kids ready to step in there and fill those shoes.
Speaking of that, how the world's going to change over the next 20, 30 years, I don't think any of us really have a crystal ball. And 20, 30 years from now, probably most of us won't care. But, you look at the forecast on job growth nationwide, you're still going to have somebody wire your house. AI will never do that. You're going to have somebody weld things. You're going to have somebody fix your vehicle, no matter what that vehicle is in the future. And somebody obviously is going to have to be the nurse in the hospital, or the EMT, or the paramedic, or the firefighter that's going to come put your fire out for you. Those are jobs, I hate to use the word future-proof, but they pretty much are at this point, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Yep. If you have a kid that's looking for a job, it's like, hey, I want to have this job for the rest of my career. These jobs are going to be there, and they're not going to be replaced per se. Kind of like what you were saying.
So I think it would be good. Anybody that's got a high school age kid, even if they're a freshman and sophomore, junior, senior, whatever. Obviously, juniors and seniors, I should say, attend programs up there. But go up and check it out. You've got a golden opportunity tomorrow night, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. We'd love to have you. Talk to you about what we do, and see the classroom, see the teachers, give you just a quick glimpse of what we have going on.
Yeah, it sounds like a good thing to do tomorrow night. Bob, we certainly appreciate your time and being on the radio this afternoon. Good luck with the golf tournament on Friday. Are you going to play, or are you going to have to work?
I'm going to play. I'm going to have the two aces in my house, my two sons. They're going to show me around the golf course.
Nice. You going to be able to break 70?
We better be able to break 70.
All right, my friend. Well, enjoy what little is left of your summer, and we'll look forward to hearing more from you in the future. Bob Spoonster, the director at the Pike Lincoln Technical Center up in Eolia, collaborative product of all the high schools in Pike and Lincoln County, and, of course, the Clopton School District. Thank you for the labor that you do, sir.
Hey, thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. It is 43 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock, and Sarge, we got a lot coming up this weekend, but one thing in particular I know you wanted to talk about.
I do. The Missouri Thunder Veterans Charities Local Heroes Ride 2024 will happen this Saturday on August the 17th, and of course that is honoring the fallen Marines Jared Schmidt and Colin Arslanbos. The ride will begin at the Iron Cross Liquor in Moscow Mills. Kickstands will be up at noon. The first stop will be at Mustang Sally's in Troy, Missouri. The next stop will be in Hawk Point. The third stop will be at Shooters in Ellsbury, Missouri. Then it will go to St. Charles's Harley-Davidson in St. Charles. And the final stop will be at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Wentzville, Missouri. And, of course, there will be event merchandise available and a silent auction, and all proceeds benefiting Veterans Community Project.
And that is a big deal. Of course, we had their representatives actually on the radio. Was it last week? Yeah, last week. And they talked about that big event coming up. You don't have to ride a bike.
No.
They made it very clear. All vehicles are welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Get out and enjoy it. It all ends up at BW3's.
Yes.
Yeah, down in St. Charles County. So it's something you can do to really benefit your fellow man.
I believe it's a $5 registration that you can do at the very first stop there at the Iron Cross Liquor, and then when it gets to the Buffalo Wild Wings, that silent auction, from what I'm understanding, there's going to be all kinds of neat little gift baskets and stuff to bid on. So, like I said, all those proceeds are going to benefit Veterans Community Project.
And we're keeping an eye right now, and I just wanted to mention this. If anybody's trying to get a last-minute vacation in and you're heading to U.S. Virgin Islands or Bermuda or the Caribbean, you might want to check things a little bit before you head down there. As that hurricane, what is it, Ernesto?
I believe that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, Ernesto's getting ready. I was seeing that Bermuda, in recorded histories, well, they started basically keeping hurricane facts in 1851, has only been struck head-on by a hurricane, making direct landfall. Bermuda's only been struck 11 times.
11 times in 73 years? Wow.
Yeah. So, but that may change here in the next 24 to 48 hours. I think marching up that way, I mean, it's got a chance. It's certainly going to create some havoc in Bermuda.
And I know that they're prepping Puerto Rico ahead of Ernesto as well.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to stay out away from the Florida Peninsula. This thing's going to miss the mainland altogether, but some of the forward islands out in the Atlantic Ocean, they're going to have to keep a real close eye on things as we move forward towards the middle of the week.
And it seems like, these hurricanes, they're popping up one right after the other.
So the whole presidential election thing is getting interesting. And I know that we don't really focus on politics on this show all that much, but we don't shy away from it either. And this really kind of goes into tech news, too. Last night, X, formerly known as Twitter, Elon Musk, the owner of that organization, which is now called X, had a sit-down interview with Donald Trump. And this was the biggest event that X had ever had. A targeted cyber attack took down the feed.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's now been uncovered. And I find it amazing. The organization, formerly Twitter, now X, the cybersecurity levels that they must have, obviously they're not impenetrable.
Right.
Last night, case in point. But millions upon millions of people logged on to watch that, and a cyber attack took it down. They actually did get it on the air. It was delayed. As their Geek Squad, which I'm sure those are some formidable geeks.
Yeah.
Kind of got things back to going again, and a lot of people obviously watched the recorded version of that. But it's funny because when we put on shows here locally with Traveling East Productions and KYRO and all that stuff, man, don't we get thrilled when we get like 500, 600 views?
I'm telling you.
We're thrilled.
Absolutely.
These guys got millions.
Millions.
And that I just find that amazing. And, of course, Musk formalized his endorsement of Donald Trump, and now both of them have become targets. I know the United Auto Workers, after they had endorsed Kamala Harris, came out and they have filed a labor charge. They filed labor charges against Trump and Musk, accusing them of trying to threaten and intimidate workers.
That's odd.
And reportedly, both Trump and Musk are kind of laughing that off.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's just case in point. You could sue anybody for anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't like your mustache, so I'm gonna sue you. So we'll see how that works out. 79 degrees if you're on the way home, 10 minutes in front of the hour of 5 o'clock. It is 5:50, and that means traffic and weather together on the 10s on the Newswatch Late Edition. Right now, let's check in with Rick Benson and find out what's going on the highways.
In News Radio KYRO traffic, just make sure to give yourself plenty of time on I-70 westbound. There is bumper-to-bumper traffic from Mid-Rivers Mall Drive around toward the accident cleanup that is still going on after Highway 79. And there's a jam up in toward Lake St. Louis, very heavy on 64 westbound from Windhaven Boulevard. That takes you around toward Wentzville. And your trouble-free at that point approaching I-70. And you will jam up briefly on Highway 79 northbound off of I-70, then again near Main Street. And that's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 63 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the lower 80s, moderate rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy, it's 78. In Warrenton, it's 77 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate, or farm ground? Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
You know, a lot of people have boats, RVs, horse trailers, all kinds of things. Have you ever thought about insuring them? Well, if you haven't, then you should. Safe Harbor Insurance. Over in Winfield, look them up on Facebook at Safe Harbor Insurance or give them a call at 668-6296. They're brokers, so they can save you money, protect your boat, RV, whatever it is you have. Safe Harbor Insurance. Give them a call at 636-668-6296 and see how much money Dave and Holly can save you.
51 after the hour of 5 o'clock. You're on Newswatch Late Edition. Coming up Wednesday night at 7:05. It'll be Not Politically Correct, as their show has now gone live. No longer a weekend deal. This is prime time.
That's right.
This is really a big deal.
Absolutely, it is.
And then Mark Bland and his merry band of men will be in on Thursday night at 7. 7:05, actually, and they will have the Q.
Yes, they will.
Live edition.
And looking at Fox Weather and seeing their updates, Ernesto right now is at about 60 miles an hour winds, and it's supposed to strengthen into being a hurricane at some point tonight. And looking at that track, it looks like Bermuda's right in the middle of that track, like you were talking about before.
Yeah, and obviously the Bermuda just a couple of feet off sea level. So I mean that's a big deal.
Could be very devastating.
Yeah, and so once again we'll be watching that very closely, and the storm surge obviously is what they're primarily concerned about. If the winds even just stayed at like 60, 70 miles per hour, but you've got that storm surge that goes along with it.
Absolutely.
That could certainly be devastating for that little island. So we'll keep those folks in our prayers as it kind of moves that way.
Absolutely.
It has occurred to me that with what we have, moving forward, with the election, what now, 84 days away, 83?
Something like that, yeah.
It just seems like things may get really kind of nuts in this country.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the propensity, obviously, elections get nuts anyway. But, I mean, with so much other nonsense going on in the world, I'm not making light of any of it, but, I mean, the situation in the Middle East, the situation in the Ukraine, just everything together, everything combined.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we focus in on what's important.
Yeah.
And that's ourselves, our families here, to just kind of maintain ourselves as a country, as the United States, and what we are.
Should be taking care of ourselves first, yeah.
And, I kind of shudder to think at the possibilities of what could happen, especially... countries are particularly vulnerable when they're going through the selection process of their new leader.
Yeah.
I always get nervous around election times, especially in that time period between the election and when the new, whoever that is sworn in. That's a particularly vulnerable time.
Absolutely.
For our country.
And with these different rallies that happen, you're looking at tens of thousands of people getting together, regardless of which side that you're talking about. So it's potential threats there, and you have to have your head on a swivel. That's for sure.
So obviously we're politics here 23 and a half hours a day. And I try to avoid that. And I'm not really trying to even take a stand right now one way or the other. But I hearken back to an earlier time, Sarge.
Yeah.
I hearken back to when we had more civility as a country. We have relationships, friendships, business relationships, you name it, that have come to an abrupt thud halt because of politics. We're better than this. We never used to be that way.
Yeah, and it hasn't been that long ago that we were that way, like you're talking about. So it's gotten to be a not just a crazy world, but right here in the United States, it's been crazy for the last, 10, 15 years or so.
Yeah, And I mean, to a degree, we talk about, the partisanship of, for example, and I think there's no better example than the news networks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And first, I think we obviously have to recognize the difference between news and news entertainment.
Yeah.
Fox at night, CNN at night, MSNBC at night. That's not news.
Mm-mm.
That's news entertainment. And it's basically slanted to the way you already think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think it's important that we go back and we consider the wisdom of W.C. Fields. Okay? Believe nothing you hear and believe half of what you see. Because, I think for so much of what it's worth, I really think we're getting hoodwinked.
Mm-hmm.
I think, if perhaps the word red herring would be a better a better paraphrase of the situation. But, it's just been kind of weighing on my mind. And maybe, maybe a Tuesday afternoon is a good time to say it.
Yeah.
But, man, I really hope and pray that in this country of ours that we can find our civility again.
Yeah. I absolutely 100% agree with you.
It used to be, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, and I've been both in my life. When I was younger, I was a Democrat. Now I wouldn't even really call myself a Republican, probably more of a, I don't know, libertarian or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember when people were friends and people could stay friends. They could agree to disagree.
Sure.
And it seems like we've just completely lost that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when Ronald Reagan passed away, for example, one of the eulogists at his service was Tip O'Neill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could you imagine, say, God forbid, Donald Trump, when he passes away, could you imagine in this day and age, Schumer or Pelosi or Biden doing his eulogy?
Absolutely not.
That wouldn't happen. And I think that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the old days, you ran the election. If you lost, oh, well, you lick your wounds, you get back up, and you say, we'll go get him next time.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's portrayed as the end of the friggin' world.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the most important election in our nation's history. Well, every election's the most important in our nation's history, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And it's just like with what you're talking about, the situation with Cori Bush. A couple of, last week when she lost and she went on that rant and rave, afterwards, it's uncalled for, honestly. I mean, like you said, lick your wounds, get back up, start over again.
Dust yourself off.
That's right.
One more plug for the big event coming up Saturday.
Missouri Thunder Veterans Charities Local Heroes Ride 2024 will happen this Saturday, August the 17th, in honor of fallen Marines Jared Schmidt and Colin Arslanbos. The ride starts at Iron Cross Liquor in Moscow Mills, Missouri. Kickstands up at noon. First stop will be at Mustang Sally's in Troy, Missouri. Then moving on to the VFW in Hawk Point. Third stop will be at Shooters in Ellsbury. Fourth stop will be at the St. Charles Harley-Davidson in St. Charles. And finally, going to Buffalo Wild Wings in Wentzville, Missouri. Event merchandise will be available, along with a silent auction, and all proceeds benefiting Veterans Community Project.
That sounds like a fun way to spend a Saturday.
It does.
Okay. All right. Well, Sarge, thank you very much for your time and energy.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
77 degrees right now at the studios, and we've run out of time. It's 6 o'clock in Mid-America. Thanks for joining us for Newswatch Late Edition.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 6 o'clock in the Heartland.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. Washington has approved $20 billion in weapons sales for Israeli forces. It comes over fears of a potential Iranian attack against Israel. Fox's Alex Hogan is in Tel Aviv.
People here are bracing night after night, wondering if this will be the night that Iran attacks. And President Biden was just asked specifically about that, about whether or not he is concerned. He said, of course he is concerned. He was also asked if he thinks that the possibility of a ceasefire might deter Iran from striking Israel. And he says that